Hello and welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new, my name is Olivia and today's video is the second video in the series on Rapunzel Shapers. Today I am going to be focusing on the Cloud9 and its big sister, the Uber Pouf. Now I chose to do both of these together because they are similarly made and similarly shaped. The only difference obviously is the size, which you can see right here. The small size here is for beginners. Definitely works excellent for beginners through more advanced wrappers. And this guy here, I would say, is definitely for a more advanced wrapper. So I'm gonna put the big one down for a second, the Uber Pouf, and we'll start today with this guy. Now, before I get into the talking about the shapers, I need to say I am sorry for the lateness of this video. My son called me and I needed to talk to him for a bit and time got totally away from me and I'm getting a late start. I do apologize. My friends, the Kit and Cat, are also in here with me today, so you're gonna see them going back and forth and maybe meowing and being silly. It's kind of one of those things. They want to be all clinging on to me today. I am also going to be wearing one of my ninja caps because in order for this video to make sense at some points, I'm going to be having to put on shapers and take them off and change positions. And I figured this would be easier to keep it continuous. So when I upload it, it won't be so choppy. I figured I would go ahead and put this on so I can just roll with it. So I'm going to also be using the same scarf as last time so that it's just the same. It doesn't, you'll get an idea of each shaper and without the distraction of a new scarf. So for continuity's sake, I am keeping this soft pashmina in pumpkin. Okay, now let me take off my hat. This guy here, the Cloud9 Shaper, is a small size shaper. This is, I'm going to say, comparable to the signature shaper in size and versatility. They're great for, both of those are great for beginners, but this one is excellent. This is the one that comes in your Kala kit. When you order a Kala kit, it comes in black, and I have it in the blonde, obviously, but it's most definitely excellent for beginning wrappers. These size I said is small. The weight of this beauty is 2.6 ounces or 74 grams. The pros, lots of them, and even more than I'm going to be listing here because that would take a long time. But there's no Velcro on this guy here. See, it's nicely sewn in the back. So you're not worrying about it getting stuck in your hair or in your scarves. So no snagging. The velvet headband is attached. So it's a one purchase. The velvet headband shape is excellent. It's got this nice large piece in the front, so that aids in holding it. So you don't have the pulling isn't on one, I say pulling, but the tension isn't on one small space. It's on the entire space. So it's not as pulling as some shapers could be, but I'm not explaining this well. I'm not explaining this well and I apologize for that. But this gives it a larger area to grip so it's not as harsh, I think is what I'm trying to say, on your hair. Also, the shape of it tapers down in the back so it doesn't have as much bulk back here at the nape of your neck. So that's kind of one of those comfort points. It can be worn in two directions. It can be worn backward, which brings this up. The way it sits on the head has it sitting more with the volume up here. So if you want to put a turban on and have all the volume up here, you would wear it backwards. But to get it with the normal area in the back, for the Pouf within the back, you would just put it on standard, like so. Now I will show you what it looks like and how I put them on. Like, I open it up like this and I'm placing it here and I'm going to put it on. just like so. Now, typically I would not have this, this cap involved. It's a little challenge for me to put it on with the cap, but here we have it. Also, the stuffing. The stuffing, I would remove some of this stuffing because I have a huge amount of hair back here, and it makes it more comfortable to have space inside when I remove about a handful of stuffing, which equals the amount of my hair. And when I put it on, it is like a fully stuffed shaper. This is a little this is overstuffed right now because I still have all the stuffing in it from, oh my goodness, from Wrapunzel. Now I'm going to tie this on while I talk about some cons of this particular shaper. One of them being that it's not for every size head. It could be a little bit too small for ladies who have lots and lots of hair or very, very thick and curly hair. The cavity inside is not so big. It can be made bigger with removing stuffing, but at some point it's kind of, when you have to remove so much stuffing that you have none in it and you fill it with your hair, you might as well just pull your hair in a bun and wear a headband. At that point, it becomes a really expensive headband. Okay, so I'm just gonna tie beginner's luck here. And as you can see, I have way more scarf here than I did with the Bobo. So from the side, this is the profile, and then the back looks like this. And then we're gonna go like this. Now also, this shaper is great that you can still get more than one scarf on and have it be comfortable. It works great with very heavy or, Micah, open the door. Very heavy or thick scarves like the tapestry or the cranberry, goodness. So those work really well with this. Okay. Make sure I'm not forgetting anything. The stretching out, it's the same as I was talking about. Did I talk about this? I think I talked about it in the first video with the velvet, the caps with the velvet attached. The velvet will stretch out and you will have to replace it over time. It should, after washing it, shrink back to a certain point. Washing it and throwing it in the dryer should shrink back to a point. But at some point it will stretch beyond what is good and will need to be replaced. Okay, but that's pretty standard with all shapers. So, okay, now wearing it backward to give all the volume up at the top. I do the same thing. I open it up with my hands, so kind of at the sides like so. I start at the back and I spread this out and bring it forward, making sure that the seam is straight down the center of my nose. It just goes straight down the center, forehead and nose. Okay, so as you can see, all the volume up top, like so. Now, the cooler wraps for this do a standard turban where you're putting it on with the fold in the back, bringing it up and tying here. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, I'm going to fold it over. For this, it's important to get the fold correct in the back. You don't want it to be too shallow or too deep, because you could be exposing, either having too much here, too much volume up here from the scarf, or not enough. So I'm hoping, let's see if I can get it done correctly. Okay, so I'm folding over about this much, and you'll see what I'm talking about when I tie it, about the extra scarf here. Okay, turn it around. I'm going to lean forward, like so. And then I want just enough scarf, ooh, perfect. Just enough scarf to come to the front of the shaper. I'm going to grab it. I'm going to swoop forward, like so, tuck in, do the same over here, just tuck it in. We're going to tie a knot, reach through, pull that guy. Now where you tie the knot is all up to you. You can have some of this showing. It's totally cool. So you can have it further, a little bit further back to show some of that, or you could have it all the way to the front. Just personal preferences, personal preference. Okay, so for this one, I'm not doing anything fancy schmancy, just wrapping it around, bringing it to the front, and giving it a good tuck. Same thing here. I'm going to turn it so that it's nice and neat. Then I'm going to bring it around like so. I could tuck it in up front here or on the top, whichever is easier. Okay, just make sure it's neat. No fringes. Excuse me. Okay, so this is what I have. I'm going to turn to the side so you can get a side profile, but you can see all of the volume is up on the top. And this is what we have. This is good for driving. Wearing this shaper is excellent for driving because you don't have, and especially in this direction, you don't have a ton back here of volume when you're driving, when wearing it regularly, but you have next to no volume back here when you're wearing it in this position. So it's really cool. I didn't know this at first, and it was like, I was, oh my gosh, 15 videos in to learning before I learned that this is possible to wear it up here. And it was kind of the coolest thing to learn, that it could be spun around and worn backwards. So, all right, I'm gonna leave this one on for a few minutes because I feel like my head is naked when I'm wearing just this cap and my ninja scarf. So, okay. The comfort, totally comfortable. I think I covered that, but just need to say totally comfortable, especially when you get the stuffing to hair ratio together, and also you're not wearing a ninja cap that's pulling under your chin. That would make, this makes for a really comfortable lightweight wrap. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Now I did think about this for a little bit. Having just a velvet headband in this shape where it's like super wide would be so cool. It's just a thought that I had. So when I have a white one, so when it's dead, I'm just going to be pulling off the pillow poof part of it and seeing if I can smallerize the velvet. If that makes sense, I can make it a little bit smaller and then use it as a headband, because if it dies, it's the headband stretched out. So I'm just, one of those weird things my mind does. So I will have to keep you updated. It's gonna be a little bit for my white one is dead enough to do that, but it would be interesting to see how the big wide headband would hold on a bunch of different scarves. So just a food for thought kind of thing. Now to move on to the next one, we're gonna move on to the Uber Pouff. The Uber Pouff, this guy is ginormous. This one took me a little bit. I'll talk about that in a minute. But this one weighs in at 7.3 ounces or 206 grams. That is huge. That is so much fluff and stuff in here. Now, the pros to this guy are same as the Cloud9s as far as the headband. And yes, I did comparison. This headband is the same size as the one I've got on my head. It's just looking a little different because of the size of the poof on the back. There is oh my God, there's a boatload of volume. There's a boatload of volume on this guy. And inside of the cap, depending on how much stuffing you have inside, this opens up and gives you so much space in there. So there's a lot of room for really thick, really long, really curly hair to go inside, or those really long hairstyles that you just want to swoop up and put in here. So there's a lot of space, especially again if you take out some of the stuffing. Make sure I get this. It talked about the headband shape. It's really comfortable. Again, this one can be worn in both ways, frontwards and backwards. Gives a really cool amount of volume, and I will be demonstrating this one too momentarily. The cons: it's when fully stuffed, it is really heavy. It is really heavy. To be honest, the first time I put it on my head, I went, oh no, this is not for me. This is not the shaper for me. And I threw it in the cabinet and left it there. I just didn't, I was like, nope, no. But I saw a couple of videos using the Uber Poof, and I was like, maybe let's pull that guy out again. And I pulled it out, and I pulled out some of the stuffing, and I put it on my head, and I wrapped it differently. I wore it backwards, and I really started to experiment with it. And I found the comfort level that was good for me, the proper way for me to wear it with the amount of stuffing that worked for me. And I like it. It's not my top favorite, because we all know that's the Wendy, but it's comfortable enough. And for those special occasions when I want in a lot of volume, I will wear this one. But again, it's not my go-to everyday shaper. So it's interesting. It's interesting to see how I went from, yeah, no, this is no, nope, to, I like it for special occasions and those times when I don't mind that excess volume. Now, this is not the style to go on the trip to Savannah in if you live in Maryland. So it's not the long haul drive type of shaper, even though it's like a nice pillow. So if you want to take it, carry it separately and use it like so in the car to give yourself a nice napping pillow. If you're driving, of course, but if you're riding in the car. This one also reminds me to again say, for these larger shapers, if you cannot drive comfortably or ride comfortably with the shaper on and your headrest in the appropriate position, I do not wear it, because you should not, absolutely should not take off your headrest and flip it backwards or take it off at all. If you can't, you can't drive comfortably with your seat tilted back a little bit to give a little bit of space back here, just wear a smaller shaper or no shaper at all, because that's just not safe. Again, I feel like I need to put that in here because that was an issue when I first started with my wrapping. What ladies would be discussing that in group. So that one said, this one is definitely the pillow for the long drives, or excuse me, or used for short drives to, say, your house of worship or the store, or to that special event. Okay, the style versatility, anything goes with this guy, anything goes. Scarves, mini scarves, depending on your tolerance for weight, because again, this is heavy in itself. So when you add in other scarves, it's going to get heavier. So depending on your tolerance for weight on your head and neck, depends on how many scarves you can wear with it, or which styles will be comfortable with it. Because in the standard, let's put her on. And okay. Back to front. Okay. So when we put her on the standard way, same, no different than putting on the Cloud9. I'm going to do this. I'm going to be starting back here, and I'm going to be pulling her on like so. Now, whew, oh boy, I had her in my eyeballs. Okay, so as you can see, this be's a lot of volume. This is a lot of volume. And sideways, this, all of this. Now this is where we get into that whole octopus head thing. And I will show you, because I don't like that look. That look kind of makes me uncomfortable. It makes me unhappy. But if you like it, that's fine. Just let's see. I will show you. I will show you. I try not to get that shape, and I think that's one of the things that turned me off about this shaper at first. Okay. And when you wrap with more than one scarf, the likelihood of you getting octopus head diminishes significantly. Now with this guy, I only fold over a little bit because I want to make sure that I have enough scarf to cover all of that. Okay. And as you can see, I'm going to be pulling it forward a little bit. Okay, straight across. I am lifting up a little bit just to make sure that I get the knot underneath of the poof. I'm not going to tie a knot. I'm sorry. I'm not going to tie the knot. I'm just going to crisscross applesauce here. And you can see you've got this going on. What I see a lot of ladies doing, let me flip this up here a little bit. Say hi to Micah. Hi, Micah. I am going to, it goes right in this channel here, and cinch it. And then when I turn it to the side, it's like I have it, like, was it Squidward head? Like so. And that's not what I was looking for in my shaper. I like that smooth back look from here back. So let's see if I can do this. I typically take out a bunch of stuffing. So what I like to do, get that, is keep this really wide. And again, with a thicker scarf and with more, a second scarf, more scarves, this will be easier to do to get that smoother look on the way back. That's not, but that's my personal preference. Not everybody has a problem with the look. What I like to do is keep this really wide and not pull it really super tight in here. Keep it, I pull it more in the back to pull that down a bit. And then I can tie this. But as you can see, if I can get this guy to sit correctly, finagling this up and around, you don't get so much tight here so that it's not a squid, a big bulbous piece back here. So I think when I learned that I could do this, I like this more. When I learned that I could take out some of that floof, I liked it even more. So it's a process of learning how to cheat the shaper at some point. I say cheat the shaper, but it's a how to get your desired shape. And again, I like this one with the tapestry, which is a thicker scarf. And there was a couple of other scarves that were thick like the tapestry, and I don't remember the name of them, but I purchased them in every color because that particular scarf was like a Pokemon. And I say this every scarf video during the year, I think. Oh my goodness, you're gonna have to forgive me, but I do have the saying that scarves are not Pokemon. You do not need to collect them all. That particular scarf, and there's very few of them that I feel like I need it in every single color they offer them in. And I cannot remember the name of the scarf, but it was a heavyweight scarf like the tapestry but it wasn't the tapestry. And I bought it in every color available because I liked the scarf so much. So I think with a heavier, an even heavier scarf or two scarves, this guy gives you that perfect Nefertiti shape, that straight back, and not the Squidward head. So if that's one of your issues, like it was one of mine about this particular shaper, this is how you cheat the eye to make it a little bit more Nefertiti shaped, for a lack of a better descriptor for the shape of this shaper. Okay, now I'm going to take this off and I'm going to spin it around and show you what it looks like backwards. It's huge, but again, from the side you could see why it might be uncomfortable to drive long distances in with this much, you know, all the way back here. Okay, now I'm going to peel it forward. I'm going to fix my ninja cap again. In my head, this was so much easier to do than stopping and starting. Hi. You're gonna come here and say hi? Come here. Say hello. See, I'm such a big boy now. When I first started showing up on videos, I was a little itty bitty teeny tiny guy. So yeah, say hi. Hi. Come over here. On the chest. Where's your brother? You gonna go get him? Okay, no. When he first appeared on video, he was so itty bitty. He's huge. He's huge. Okay, now I'm going to turn it around with the small portion in the front. Again, it's the same putting on, starting in the back, covering the hair, bringing it forward. Okay, like so. Now, as you can see, the volume up here versus the volume of the Cloud9, I have to giggle, and I'm so sorry. This just makes me like, oh my goodness, you're huge. You were huge. Oh my gosh. It's like lots of volume. Okay, so that's what it's like unwrapped. Oh my, that's a lot. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this scarf on and hope I do it correctly. Okay, just a small fold like so. This one goes around the nape up at the nape of the neck. Lean forward. I haven't done this in a while. Okay, so as you can see, this scarf is kind of small. This is, got. Okay, we're going to pull and swoop like this. Okay, turn sideways. All right, now we're going to do the same as we did the last time, except I didn't even steven it enough. And we're gonna have to pull our knot to the front and push back a little bit so that our shaper does not show. So we have this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this up like so, bring it around. I'm bringing it around very open so that some of this tail goes onto the top. And I'm pulling. This will give your shaper a shape. This will help shape the shaper. Okay. Like so. And then we have this guy here. And this guy here is really short. But we're going to bring him open anyway. And we're just gonna tuck him in where we can. Okay, my friend, there's you, and there you are. Okay. The extra long t-shirt tail works really good. I've done this with that. Giving this a good tuck. Oh, as you can see, wow, this is super huge. And I think you can still see fringes. I would mess with this and rewrap and stuff to get rid of the fringes, and just wrap this one first and then wrap this one over it. Not going to do that right now, but if I were going out, that's what I would do so that you wouldn't get the fringes so much. Could also put an accessory up here, as this gives you so much room to put an accessory. But to the side, you see just how big this is direct from Wrapunzel. This is huge, but you don't have as much back here, so driving is more comfortable, except for height wise. You might have to lower your seat down so that you're not scrunching like this to drive, because this is very high. Wow. I almost wish I had a tape measure to show you just the height of this from my head. So, okay. All right. This is big. This is big. Now I'm going to take this off because I feel extra, but if you take some of the stuffing out, it does get smaller than this. Okay. Now, I think I went over all the pros, the cons. As you can see, when it's fully stuffed, it's really big and it's really heavy. This is totally not for beginners, because you should develop some skills of wrapping turbans, wrapping regular style wraps before you tackle this guy, because this could definitely make you feel like you're not getting it. This could definitely make you feel in a negative way about wrapping. Again, with the whole shaper needing to be replaced when the velvet headband stretches out. But when you get comfortable with this amount of fluff and stuff, anything goes with this shaper. So, okay. So I hope I have gotten this one well done. If there's anything else you want to know about these two shapers, the Cloud9, hi baby. He's giving me the side eye, like, get off, come on, let's go. But if you have any more questions about this guy, just leave them in the comments, or even this one. So, all right. I hope you all have enjoyed the video. I hope it's been helpful and informative. And if you were thinking about one or the other of these, I hope it helps you with your decision. I will be videoing again tomorrow, a quick video on our friends, the classic with this headband, and the ultimate. Now, I told you in the first video that the ultimate is one of the ones that was in my collection, so it's a little stretched out, a little dingy, but it's the one I'm using because it's not one I use often. So these are tomorrow's video, And I hope you all have a wonderful evening, and I will see you in the next one.